We should read the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
First item on the agenda is to approve our agenda.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss to approve the agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open up the floor to any public comment. Anyone here to speak to us today? Anyone out there on the phone or internet that has anything to say or ask? One final opportunity, anyone for public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next agenda item, Grow South Dakota Annual Update. Morning, Kelly.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great.
You made it home.
Yes. Still trying to catch up with sleep, so hopefully my brain is working this morning. Good.
Morning, Ross.
I'm Kelly Weber, and this is Mark Nelson. We're staff with Grow South Dakota. We're here to give you kind of our update for 2021, along with our budget request for 2022. And that is $5,000. That's listed there right on the top of the sheet. So I'm going to turn over to Mark, and he's going to kind of give an overview of some activities, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so just to give a little bit of a breakdown of what programs Grow South Dakota does do is we do emergency assistance. So if you are income eligible, you potentially could, or we could assist you in helping pay for rent, utility bills, items like that. We do help market and sell the governor's homes. We do home improvement, so in other words, it can be cosmetic, okay, but more in the fact of like windows, roofs, etc. It's a very competitive application, and the list is very long on that. Probably what we have the most funds for is our housing lending. So we do direct lending and then down payment assistance. And so for direct lending, some reasons why potentially clients go to us is that maybe their credit score is a little bit lower, they can't get a certified qualified appraisal, items like that. But it's really our down payment and closing cost assistance program. That is a 0% loan, all payments deferred until you either pay off your loan, refinance your home, or sell your home. And so the idea is to lower your house or your loan amount to make the monthly payments a lot more affordable. And then we do have a lot of business lending funds available, so typically small business in nature, maybe not quite ready for the bank, kind of the same concerns of maybe their credit score, maybe they don't have enough down payment for a traditional bank loan, etc. And then our weatherization and furnace program, so you have to be on the LEAP program to qualify for that, but they'll basically do energy audit on the home just to make sure that those improvements do make sense energy efficient wise. Kelly, if you want to give an update on SBDC?
So the Small Business Development Center is a national program that Grow South Dakota hosts, and we have an office here in Aberdeen where Mark and I both work. Mark kind of wears two hats with Grow. He has a part-time SBDC, and then he's also a business lending officer with Grow. And so we provide free and confidential services to people wanting to start a business, grow their business, or manage their business, even selling and buying businesses. So you can see the dollars that are listed there are basically the economic impact that we collect when we work with a client and they're able to get financing or investment in their business. We're able to capture that. So that would be relevant to Brown County in 2021. And in terms of the numbers, it would be the number of people that we worked with, and I mean that's representative of one business, not necessarily partners in the business or how many parties might be involved in that. So that's kind of those activities. We also manage the Big Idea Competition, which is a statewide business idea competition for high school students. This year will be the 15th anniversary of that competition. So we've reached over 4,000 students statewide. Starting to see some interest from students outside of South Dakota. We've had some finalists and students applying. They find us online, and we'll accept anybody who wants to come as long as they're willing to participate in that final event if they're a finalist. So COVID gave us the opportunity to learn how to do virtual events in 2020, so that served us well moving forward and trying to expand that. So that's really a great benefit, and Grow is a huge supporter of that. We do have a number of board members that live in Brown County. Jody Zuger is on our Community Action Program Board. Beth Smith and Pat Towson are on our NESDEC board, which is our business lending, housing lending board. And then we have other members in the community that belong to committees, finance committees, endowment committees, you can see there. We do have HUD certified counselors on our staff, so we're able to do home buyer education, which is really beneficial, especially, you know, some programs require it in order to get financing. Other programs, you know, it's just a good thing. Whether even if you're just going the traditional route of getting financing, we all remember the first house we bought and how much we probably didn't know about what we were really getting into at the time. And then the staff is the staff here in the Brown County office, which is Mark and I, and we have a student intern from Northern. And that helps us with the Big Idea competition.
And then we actually worked with the city of Groton last year to do a CLI project, and so basically it's just community members, and then they go to some leadership classes, and then they ended up using their funds for some park improvements. So
Very good.
The second sheet of your handout is just kind of the beauty and the pluses and minuses of Grow, which is such a big organization that has so many different things. But we're focused on housing, community, and economic development. And within each of those areas, there's a listing then of each of the different programs that operates under that area. So if you have needs, if you have constituents that have needs in housing, community, or economic development, you know, there's probably a fit for something along the lines there. At least it gives you some idea of whether there might be a match, and we just certainly encourage you to and just refer them to us, because if we don't have a program within our organization, Grow has a great national brand and is also sought out often by national organizations to implement programs, and so there's a lot of relationships. Some of our CEOs sit on national boards, so if we don't have the direct connection, we might have some indirect connections to help people with the needs that they have or other ideas. With that, I'll pass along a set of brochures for each of you, and then this is our annual report for Grow for 2021, which will kind of recap a lot of the investment there statewide that we're participating in. And then there's different posters here if there's a place that those could be provided or hung up in the county, or have it at your office for a little bit more information about what counties certain programs apply to, how do they know if they qualify, and then of course the contact information. I mean, I work in the organization and I can't keep it all straight, so we certainly don't expect you to keep it all straight, but just give a call. We also do have a way for people to go onto our growsd.org website and create an account basically, and indicate that they need help with housing or business lending, and that'll reach out to our staff, and somebody will get back to them and kind of start the process and help them understand what they're going through and how we can help. So one of the big programs, we still have some funding left through the COVID CARES Act money through the South Dakota Department of Housing and Housing and Development Authority to help with mortgage, rent, and utilities. And when the program started, it was kind of like you had to be directly impacted by COVID. Now it's pretty much, they've made the decision, everybody's been impacted by COVID one way or the other, whether it's, and just because the economy's been impacted, that's impacted everybody. So if there's needs there also can be some assistance there. With that, I'll be quiet and entertain any questions that you might have of us.
You're the marketing representative for the governor's housing program. How many houses do they build a year? Is that kind of a backlog for you to be able to get into that program because there's a shortage of houses being built to meet your needs?
Yeah, it's a delay.
That is a great question. I don't know how many they do per year, but I do know that there is quite a long waiting list for that. And I think last time I heard it was about a year wait.
Okay.
Unless there's something like specific or something like backed out of a home, sometimes they can come up quicker, but it is quite a wait for those homes there.
I would imagine they're experiencing the same thing everybody else is, shortages of materials and availability.
And the prices have continued to rise just because of that fact too.
Right.
Yeah.
I've probably asked you this in the past, how many counties are you?
Well, it depends on which program you're talking about. So, it depends. So Rural South Dakota has programs that cover all of South Dakota. Even though we're housed and based in the Northeast, some of our programs, business lending, housing lending, can be happen anywhere in South Dakota. Like our Small Business Development Center program, the Aberdeen office covers 13 counties, but there are 5 other SBDCs across the state, so it has statewide coverage, just that Grow is only involved in the Northeast region for those services. Some of the business lending programs, within the funding that we have, we can fund business loans across the state, but there might be pools of money that we can only access for certain counties. So, we cover all of South Dakota, is the answer to that question.
Okay.
That's what I should have started with.
Very good.
Well, I've seen the evolution and the broad spectrum of different programs and stuff just illustrates the fact that your organization doesn't know how to say no. If somebody comes and says, I think you could help us with this. And
Yeah,
you're like, "Oh, okay, let's see what we can do."
It's still amazing to me that, federal agencies, national nonprofit organizations will reach out to Grow because they've been so effective in what they've done. And with some of the down payment assistance, we've even done work on behalf of other states that we would do like pre-qualification work for Pennsylvania or Nebraska, or go down and train their staff how to do that. So it's pretty humbling to be involved with an organization that's so widely respected.
Yeah. Well, your request of $5,000, we are just beginning our budget process for next year, so we'll be holding some budget hearings and listening to different agencies and departments within the county, so we will make a determination and let you know what we land on. So.
If that's all we can ask for.
All right.
Pretty
Thank you
modest request.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
You bet.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming in this
thank
morning.
you.
You bet.
All right, next on the agenda, sewer line for regional jail building. 3 different photographs in the packet, and Judy and Kyle will explain what they want us to do out there.
Go ahead, up.
Sure.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Rod.
This is the packet of documents that we discussed. First one's an agreement, the second one's an easement, the third one's a warranty deed to deal with the subject matter, but I'll let Judy and staff, if they want to explain what's going on, or I can, whoever wants to talk.
Oh, well, Kyle, you can go ahead, explain what we're doing there.
So this is the completion of the transaction between the county and the Aberdeen Development Corporation with the facility that the county bought, and we had that lot and a half that was sold to the county, but because of some title work requirements and issues, we ended up selling you 2 full lots, and now you're going to deed back to us the north half of lot number 4, and so that's what the deed says. We learned that there is a sewer line running kind of through the middle of that lot 4 on your property, and ADC is gonna get back from you. And so that does not make it very conducive to future development. So ADC has agreed to, at its own expense, move that sewer line over to the west boundary of its property. And that agreement, the front document, is the agreement between ADC and the county to say that that will be done at ADC's expense. And that you will still retain full use of the sewer line once it's newly constructed and completed. And then the easement is the third document, and that is the easement given by ADC to the county to allow that sewer line to remain there and for you to have access to that 10-foot strip to maintain it and repair it and replace it if necessary. So that's the document set. I worked with the county and the ADC's contractor, B&B, who's going to do the work, to make sure that the sewer line was configured in the manner the county approved. B&B had designed it with some 90-degree bends in it. The county said that's not going to work very well, so we had B&B take those out, and I think the county staff is comfortable with the design now, is my understanding. So.
Okay, the photograph we were just handed has the 45-degree angle.
And that 45 is actually on your side of the property line, so the easement only needs to be, because on our side, north of the property line, it's all on the west 10 feet, so.
And there's adequate clean outs and manholes and so on in there the way it looks?
Wasn't at first, but we worked with Kyle and Judy and got that structured properly and added another manhole to meet code, so.
Okay.
Ross and Ernest were instrumental in getting their documents done properly, so I appreciate their help on that as well.
I think we got all this information either late last night or this morning, and our state's attorney's office had a chance to review them, I believe, and seem okay with the way they're worded, and everybody's okay with the language, and the legal description is correct, and everything's been checked, the way I understand it.
As far as the language,
used to
both
use
Rob and
that,
I
yeah.
have reviewed the document. It accomplishes what Rod just described. So we're good with the language. I believe the legal descriptions are good. Ross had those checked.
I took them over there a little bit ago and she ran them. They're comfortable at the register, so.
Okay.
So they checked the legals. We're good with that.
All
As
right.
far as the state's attorney's office is concerned, we're good to go.
Good to go, all right. Rod, anything else you want?
No, I think, again, I think everybody understood this going into it. I think the sewer line was a bit of a curve in the road, but otherwise, we all understood that you were gonna deed this half of the lot back, and now that we can get the sewer line out of the way, this will open the door to get more productive businesses in Brown County and more taxpayer revenue. So there is a party that was purchasing this, don't know if they're still on the line or not, but they were gonna bring about 20 jobs. So if they don't buy it, somebody else will, and it's gonna be good for the county, so.
Very good. All right, we've got the documentation, everybody seems to be on board. Any comments
Okay with
by
that,
the commissioners?
okay with it.
What's the timeline on moving the sewer line?
As soon as you approve it, they're gonna start, my understanding. Now, again, you know how construction schedules work, but, I think they're gonna work pretty quickly on getting this done.
Staffing and materials, but they're ready to get it in there.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense, because I'm not sure how much that line's getting used right now. I know it's a low-use line anyway, so, before you get your project all ramped up, I think it makes sense just to get it done now when it's probably less busy than it will be in the future.
Sure. All right, we have the documents in front of us, everybody's okay with them on our side and their side. I would entertain a motion to approve the signature of these documents.
We'll do two motions, one for the agreement and then one to authorize chair on the warranty deed.
Okay? So we've got the easement agreement and the agreement itself. Entertain a motion on that first.
So moved.
Motion by Weiss. I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now the authorization to sign the warranty deed as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Feldheim. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will get these signed and back to you.
Okay, I'll get Mike to sign the easement, giving the county the right, so, we can't sign the easement until you sign the warranty deed, because we don't own it yet.
Okay?
The deed right here.
Okay.
So we'll give that to you.
Thanks
And
to
then-
staff and to you for working through this situation.
Well, and the state's attorney's office too, they help a
Right.
lot. So we're going to, close this through my office, we'll record electronically, we'll make sure we get the deed recorded first and then the easement recorded second, so that they come up record at the right time. We should be good to go, we'll get going.
That's the way the dominoes work.
That's the way the dominoes work.
I just
So-
signed the warranty deed, so
Okay.
Kathy's notarizing it.
So after this, can you let me know when I can put Rfp Energies and all the bills into, so I put them into AD?
I put them in ADC today.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll get the easement signed today, and we'll get the deed, it's already been signed, so we'll record them both today. So you go ahead and make that change.
Okay.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Cal,
Thank
for all
you.
your efforts on this. All right, before we go on to our next agenda item, we've had a request for a quick executive session to discuss legal. So I would entertain a motion to go into exec for legal.
So moved.
Motion by Weed, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec. We'll, it'll be a short meeting. We'll call you all back in when we're done. We're public, we're out of exec. No action as a result.
Okay.
To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do not have a PIN, just press pound or hash. The organizer has not yet started the meeting. You will be placed on hold until an organizer starts Go to Meeting.
Oh.
We dialed in a little bit before the go-to was turned on the computer, so it's not connected.
So you want me to redo it? Wait till
I think on caller one, we're caller one, nobody else is on but us, so I think we'll be okay.
Excuse me, can you open that door, please?
Yeah, I can take care of it.
Thank you.
We are back in session.
Thanks, Kathy.
See if anybody else is coming in here.
Well, maybe we're not caller one.
They don't wanna see it.
All right, we're out of exec. Next item on the agenda, Summit Carbon Solutions update. Gentlemen, you have a brief update for us.
Yes, sir. Trey, if you want to. Well, my name is Paul Phillips, and this is Trey Lester, and we work with a company called Turnkey Logistics, and we are hired to represent Summit Carbon Solutions. We've got a couple handouts here for you guys, and ladies, sorry. There you go.
I'm going for this.
Here, I'll give you a couple of extras here now. Extra package for All right, so, yeah, I know you guys have been spoken to before. We just wanted to give you a quick update, and you guys will allow us, we'd like to come back every quarter or so and give you an update on where we are with the project. For anyone here that might not know about this project, what it is we are proposing to build a pipeline gathering system, basically, to pick up the CO2 from the ethanol plants. We've got 32 different plants, including the Glacial Lakes plant here in Aberdeen, that we are picking this carbon dioxide up from, and we are piping that up to North Dakota, where it will be permanently sequestered, disposed of, and out of the way. And the purpose of doing this is to help lower the carbon scores for these ethanol plants, which will help them stay competitive in the market. An ever-changing market. If this doesn't happen, if they don't get some sort of relief on their carbon score, they are going to have trouble marketing their product in the near future. So what this pipeline is doing, this is developed by agriculture to help out the producers in the area, the corn producers as well as ethanol producers. 40% of the corn sold in the U.S. goes to ethanol production, and without lowering this score, that is something that is in danger of going down. So this project, we have hired a third-party firm to try to do an estimate on the tax benefits of this project for Brown County, and what they have estimated is it will be a total, for the life of the project, of just under $60 million investment, that being around $872,000 a year in additional tax revenue from this project. Let's see. As of right now, just for a quick update, we are estimating construction around summer of 2023. That's when we'd like to do it. These dates are subject to change, so that's where it's at right now. In Brown County, we are just under 8% acquired as far as landowner acquisition, around 8%. In the state of South Dakota, we're around 20%. We have, let's see, like I said, 32 different plants online. We have some partnerships in the community, Minkota Power Cooperative, Blue Ammonia Project. We have some investors in this project, which include John Deere, Continental Resources, Summit Agricultural Group, of course, and Tiger Infrastructure. We are submitting our application for permit to the PUC October of this year, and expecting a decision by June of 2023. And those dates are as of right now as well. So, that's about it, all I have. Well, and I should mention, we are already actively involved in this. We are seeking community investment opportunities as well. And as I was speaking with her earlier, we're already speaking with the fair to help do some sponsorships out there. Open the floor to any questions, anything anyone might have. Be glad to.
How do you guys arrive at the new property tax annual income number?
So this is a total, what's referred to as like an ad valorem tax. It's basically taxing what's considered the asset that is going to be on that property. The additional asset, which will raise the property value, which will raise the taxes, which is what we will pay. Is that, and again, I'm not a tax expert. There are some further details that I am not qualified to get into, that I can certainly get you a document that can explain that further.
But, I mean, are you talking about like your pump stations, or are you talking about the line itself?
The line itself.
Okay, so you're figuring the line...
And pump stations.
The line itself on their property will increase the value? Is that what you're saying?
It will increase the tax burden, certainly, because of the asset that is now on that property.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't know if you can answer this or not, I'm just curious functionally, you show a small portion of this going through the northwest corner of Brown County, and it shows 3 main valves in pretty close proximity. I'm just curious what the reason for that might be, you know?
That could be a water crossing, it could be a highway crossing. Any sort of crossing like that, you're going to have valves a little bit closer together, where there's a risk of a possible leak or something like that, where they need to isolate that area. That would be the reason for that.
Okay, I was just curious.
Sure, and these are remote valves that are monitored and controlled.
Okay. All right, just curious.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'd like to come back and do this every quarter. I appreciate you guys' time, and you know, feel free to reach out anytime.
All right, appreciate you coming in, keeping us up to date on what's going on, and look forward to seeing you next quarter.
Thanks a lot.
All right?
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
Deb, could we try dialing again? Dirk's on, and I'm guessing it's probably to hear about the easement and the fairground next week. Third time's a charm today.
I went in the other time, then it didn't work.
Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign.
See at ease here for a minute while we try and dial back in so we can get some outside input.
To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do not have a PIN, just press pound or hash.
Yeah, we need to update our technological abilities over here, along with the camera for the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for taking the call the other day, too.
Morning, Rachel. Thank you.
Please enter your access
Oh, you're
code
doing so
followed
good.
by the pound or hash sign.
Impressed?
Yeah, I know. That's on big side, too.
Oh, this is just legal, that's not even...
To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do not have a PIN, just press pound or hash.
Lost everything.
Perfect.
There could not be a worse audio pin than 1-1.
No kidding.
Okay.
1 is the one number that doesn't work on that phone.
I have no idea what did, now it's...
Let's just roll with it.
Well, for those out there in whatever land, we won't be able to communicate with you today. The camera is on, so.
Let me try one more time here. Go ahead, keep going.
All right, next item on the agenda, we've got Rfp Entertainment
Please enter
Consulting
your
Award.
access
Good
code
morning, Rach.
followed by the
Morning,
pound
you
or
guys.
hash
Thanks
sign.
for deferring that 1 week when we opened those proposals last week. It gave the Fair Board and the Entertainment Committee the opportunity to check them out when they met last Wednesday. And with that, when they looked through it, it wasn't a slam dunk, really easy decision because of the history we've had with our current entertainment
To
consultants.
enable audio controls, please enter your audio
Fair
PIN
Board did
followed by the
recommend
pound
going
or
with
hash
Winterset
sign.
for the
If you do
3-year.
not have a PIN, just press pound
Primarily
or
for the
hash.
cost factor. They just saw that as another, $30,000, $25,000 that they can put towards the entertainment itself. So, definitely we've had a great relationship with Romeo Entertainment and keep in contact with them as we continue to RFP this now that it's over that $25,000 that we have to. But with that, they'd like to recommend going with Winterset.
All right. And you agree with the Fair Board's recommendation?
I do. I think there'll probably be a few rough patches as we get to know each other and any relationship with any vendor or person we work with, but I think we'll be able to work that out.
They seem to have a pretty good track record and should be able to hopefully secure some quality entertainment. All right, we have a recommendation before us to approve the Winterset contract with the entertainment consultants.
Move it.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Gage. Any further discussion or questions of the commission? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. And then,
Yeah, thanks to you and the entertainment committee and the board for, going through that.
absolutely. I think the next one's me too.
All right, next up, we've got Northern Electric easement. Must be an easement at the fairgrounds for the campground expansion.
We are, yeah. So here is 2 copies of the contract itself and 2 copies of the easement.
Thank you.
So I sent you some preliminary information about that. What we're looking at doing, and Northern Electric's board has also signed on, is a 3-year contract with them. Because the reason we need the easement is it's not just a simple fix of the electrical that's out there. They're gonna take a new transformer and completely come up the fence line of the new property, so that, right now, this is all, the electricity is all through one source. So by doing this, any development down here would be on a separate line, so that if we lose power for some reason up here, not the whole thing goes. So the game plan would be to, yet this month, come up to here and get, it's just the preliminary. So we still have the expense of the pedestals and a local electrician doing the hookups. But what they would do is they would create the infrastructure needed to do additional camping. And what we have on, if you look at that contract, the first year it would be an exchange of check of $5,000, second year $7,500, third year $7,500 for a total of $20,000 in sponsorship. We would write them a check for that. They would turn around and exchange a check and then do the work. So this is the what the sites would look like. So for 2022, we're creating 60 new sites just south of the back 40, which is located right here. Back 40. Year 2023, we would come over here and start doing these sites, so 72 sites on the primitive campground. The only part we're not doing is this low part. I went out there when we had that significant rain event, and it actually wasn't as bad as what I thought it would be. We didn't know how that would, if we'd need some fill and stuff, but 72 is going to be quite the expense already to get the pedestals and stuff, so that was our game plan, is to leave that for now. And then year 2024, come over and do these. This would be 39 sites, 3 rows of 13. So that's what's indicated on your map.
So none of the new spots would actually be in the newly acquired area, is that correct?
They will be, the first round will be.
Eventually?
Yep, and so the part that they're gonna name, and you'll see, the official name they'd like to have by the contract, they would get a 10-year sponsorship for the naming of that campground. It's a very original name, but Northern Electric Cooperative Campground is what we'll name that, just south of the back 40 on the new ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then in 10 years, according to the contract, they'd have first right of refusal to continue the sponsorship, but we'd come back to the negotiating table and see if maybe there's additional electrical that we need help with, or something of that nature. The staff and volunteers from the Fair Board have been working hard. They've called every single person on what used to be a 700-person waiting list, because we're on the process of trying to get a hold of the Don Schumacher, who is paying this year, to get a hold of him and let him know that we are putting primitive out there, and we've had 128 additional people sign up just for a primitive spot. So anytime we can get somebody, whether it be full hookups or just primitive, to pull their camper out there, as you well know, that increases length of stay, it's more money they're gonna spend at the fair, so that's pretty huge for us to go out and do that, so.
Good deal.
So what I'm asking for you today is, I guess I would ask your approval on the contract and for the easement, and for the naming, right, the approved naming rights. Those have all been through the board and they're supportive.
All right, so we'll handle these, 3 different motions, I believe.
Are those all within that contract?
The naming, I don't think they put the naming in there, it was just an email because it was last minute.
Okay, so we'll do the naming rights separate.
Okay.
If anything else is all inclusive in that contract, that'll be okay.
It should be, and the contract and the easement separate.
So the easement will be separate.
Right,
So
okay.
at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the right-of-way easement from Northern Electric.
So moved.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Easement is taken care of. Now, the Northern Electric Cooperative Naming Rights Agreement, is that what we're acting on next?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Feldheim, to approve the Northern Electric Cooperative Naming Rights Agreement. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. That,
And with that agreement, we're okay with the name. I don't think it's written in there explicitly, but.
okay. Okay. That takes care of both
Do
items
you need a
then?
motion on the actual name or no?
If you guys want the name in the minutes,
We probably should to make sure
Okay.
it's
so can I
documented.
get that full name again?
Northern Electric Cooperative Campground.
Entertain a motion to approve that naming, naming of the campground, the
Move.
Northern Electric Cooperative Campground.
So moved.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
If
Rachel.
I can get 2 copies of those signs, that would be great.
Before you go.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Okay.
Sorry, no. No, this is exactly the type of thing I like to see, the cooperation and the collaboration and the sponsorship, and I appreciate you working through the negotiations, trying to make this happen and so forth. Easy and tough question, just curious, because I subscribe to the notion that plans are worthless and planning's imperative. And it's been a long time, and I went through that process a few times years ago. Tell me where you're at, besides, after the fair or whenever, about a strategic plan about facilities utilization going forward. I don't expect a lot of detail, but I'm confident that's on your radar for
It is.
all of the different partnerships that we have and how we can cultivate those going forward. Just curious shortly, where you see that process.
Sure. Well, 2 big things. First of all, we sat down with the Fair Board and got their top number of what do they see, because there's, between fairground staff and Fair Board, they see it probably better than anybody, because a lot of them spend the entire summer out there trying to improve things. So they gave me a laundry list of areas that they've been focused on and they would like to see improved. Based on that, we kind of narrowed it down to a couple that we'd like to really focus on. Obviously, the grandstand is a big one. Another one is restrooms right outside the grandstand. It's never, we've had one of the local contractors come out, and Kurt and I met with them, and we did some measurements of what it would take to just build onto the current bathroom structure right outside the grandstands, to go to the west. So that's a big one. Obviously, the camping, one of the biggest issues we have infrastructure-wise, because when we talk to the city, we'd like to get water to this part. Those campsites that I showed you, the only water will be right on the south back 40 right now, because we can put splitters on them. They already have the hydrants. We'd like to get water on some of these others, but right now we have an 1.25 inch line that runs all the way from the grandstand to the go-kart track, to the RC track, to the Ackerman Arena, to MP1, to the bathrooms. That's just not enough water capability. But then on the other hand, you're kind of thinking, how much do you spend for 1 week worth of, So what we're looking at doing is this hydrant shooting over here, is that cheaper, or is it better to come up from 24? So the water is definitely an issue that's on the radar. So
So I could just go on and on, but yes, there is a plan, there are priorities. It's just a matter of, right now, the camping was kind of the one that came to the top, because we all know that the success of the fair, if we
Yeah.
get people out there longer, once we get this 3-year project done, I'm hoping there'll be a way, and that's something I actually need to talk with auditor's office and you about, is maybe doing some of the prepay, because if we do those 3 years, it will deplete the money that we have in the savings account for the fair. But the mindset is a lot of these folks would pay, like we used to do, $500, $700 to prepay to get the electrical out there. Is that something we want to consider, so?
That's something we did over in this area a number of years
Yeah.
ago that was very successful.
Yeah, so what did that look like when they prepaid? Did it go into a special account, or did you, I mean, I guess that's something I wasn't.
I'm not completely sure.
We can look at the details of that.
Okay. Because this will definitely bring in more income, but then when it goes back into the general fund, is the idea that at the end of the year, we just keep looking and saying, okay, if you got above where you thought you were gonna be,
Yeah.
can we take that difference and keep making the improvements we wanna make?
Right.
Yeah, it was structured basically just to offset the infrastructure improvement costs on the front end to get it done without having to
Right.
figure out other creative ways to doing it. It was very successful, so.
And so for this year, those 60 sites we're doing, just electrical, is about 40,000 for 60 sites, when you take the contractor and the pedestal. So it'll be similar in the next 2 years, but the nice thing is we can do them together, like a 2-year project, maybe get a little bit better deal for more. But, yeah, those are some of the areas, but we could talk a long time on that.
Yeah, no, well, I appreciate the update, and I think it's important for people to be thinking and knowing that, you know, your staff and the fair board, you know, got that in the back of their mind, you know, constantly about how does this fit in, you know, what future plans do we have, and taking all the different kinds of things into consideration, so. I appreciate that impromptu update, so thank you for that.
Absolutely, yeah, ask anytime, we'll bring it up again.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, brings us to the end of our assigned agenda items. Now we'll move on to the consent calendar.
We have the approval of general meeting minutes from June 7th, and then the election canvas from the 10th.
Move.
Motion by Feldheim,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
While we're there, since you brought it up, at the canvas and everything else, it needs to be said again publicly that you, your staff, and the volunteers did an outstanding job with the election last week, and you need to be recognized for that. You know, the almost 6 weeks of early voting and all the other things that went into it, the number of multiple ballots we had this year, 32 times 2. I'm very impressed, and so are a lot of other folks, and it needs to be said publicly. Thank you for
Well,
that.
thank you guys for giving us the appropriations to make a smooth election. That helped a lot.
Yeah.
Make flexibility and able to get what we needed, so.
Job well done.
Yeah, so thank you for letting me put that in there.
All right, thank you. All right,
Did we take a vote?
yeah.
Okay. Claims?
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report?
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Fair contract?
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Big Shot fireworks permit?
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Leases?
Move.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
We have a malt beverage application?
Move.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Brings us to the end of our consent calendar items. Is there any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? We've had a request to go into executive session to discuss personnel. If there's nothing else, State's Attorney, do you have anything else that you need to discuss regarding legal while we're in?
I have a personnel issue,
Personnel also?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in executive session. All right, we're back in session, out of exec, no action as a result. Is Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? Hearing and seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Feldheim to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.